Sup, you chuckle fucks? It's your boy Dark Raikou here with What If Issei had the power of Spiral, or what the fuck did I call it again? I don't remember, but I'll put it in the title, whatever. But not the point. I should mention before I record, thunder might happen in the background. Now, if you hear thunder in the background, that's not me putting a fucking sound play on the background, because I would never put thunder in the background. Well, maybe sometimes, just randomly, but not the point. Mostly, right now, there's mostly your local thunderstorm rolling into where I live at, and yeah. Hope no flash flood, because if flash flood does happen, the weather, mostly an alert will happen. It will piss me off, and I'm going to sleep at 3 o'clock again. Because, well, that happened last time. That literally happened on fucking Friday in the morning, somewhere in I was about to go to sleep somewhere in 3 o'clock, and instead of falling asleep, a weather, an alarm for the weather saying flash flood appear. I thought it was just my alarm clock, but really it was just that. It annoyed the fuck out of me. I was literally about to sleep through it until I just fucking had to open my eyes, turn that shit off, and fucking go back to sleep. But not the point. Let me begin into this what if. Let me shut the fuck up and let me begin. So we go into mostly, sorry about kind of rambling on, but yeah. But we go into mostly Issei. Issei is right now kind of just glancing towards mostly his friend, who's actually giving him notes and actually telling him, okay, what notes to actually copy, and some of the notes that he just scribbled randomly because he was just so fucking annoyed half the time. Doesn't work well. Mostly Issei high enough managed to kind of scribble in the notes. Of course, every guy is still glaring at Issei, and every girl is just so confused with Issei. Of course, if Issei wasn't a pervert, most girls would start trying to ask him out. Now, of course, for Motohama, they're so confused with him just taking notes, they literally thought the apocalypse was happening, or this was just a dream or a nightmare or whatever. And this is where, well, then they realize that Matsuda is still the damn same. He's still a pervert. So yeah, they are just confused. 2 out of the 3 kind of perverts are just acting normal, while 1 is still acting like a pervert. This is where, well, mostly Issei and Motohama are just kind of talking about the notes, so Issei can just ignore everyone. Issei doesn't really want to ignore everyone except for mostly mostly Estef. It's because mostly he kind of did get interested in Estef. Her mostly color of hair and of course color of eyes, they're not rare, but mostly her color of skin is kind of rare. But of course, he thinks that she's kind of foreign because mostly she is quite snowy white, pale skin. This is where, well, he thinks that she's from some kind of place in somewhere in America. This is where, well, Issei does talk to mostly Motohama, saying, so what about the new girl? Huh? New girl? Oh, her? What do you want from her? This is where, well, mostly Motohama says, are you really going to go out with her or something like that? I mean, you did hold hands and her, blah blah blah, something like that in the rumors beginning. This is where Issei says, no. Where do you think she's actually from? This is where Issei kind of questioned out towards mostly Motohama. They're basically just talking alone, while Matsuda is still over here crying, thinking that he would never get a girlfriend. And of course, the fact that Motohama was easily overpowering him, because, well, Matsuda was the one who was actually a jock in middle school, and Motohama was mostly a nerd. And yet Motohama overpowered his ass and kicked him to the side because Motohama was wanting to take notes. This is where, well, Matsuda really lost his pride in basically being the strongest, mostly the strongest out of the pervert trio, and of course, kind of being a man at that point. Well, mostly mostly stronger out of both Issei and even Matsuda, not Matsuda, Motohama. But yeah, he got easily taken out by the nerd in their group. Of course, he would have called Issei the nerd, but of course, Issei has shown that he's a little bit stronger than Motohama. But that is not the point here. There, if Issei does try. Now, of course, Matsuda is kind of, well, mostly just crying, but yeah. While Issei and Motohama are just talking, Motohama says, from her skin and features, I would say she will probably be from Russia or Canada. One of those. Wait, why? That's where, well, mostly Motohama explains that mostly in Russia, a lot of Mostly a lot of Russians are basically usually having kind of palish skin, kind of, because of their weather condition up there. Issei kind of says, I see. What about Canada? Same with the same weather condition. They have mostly like icy kind of temperature up there, and that's why I'm never moving to either Canada or Russia, because I would not be good in the cold. Issei says, I see. Hmm. This is where, well, Issei says, I see. This is where, well, we'll see what Hama says. What do you actually think she's from then? Right now, somewhere in Japan? I actually have never seen someone that pale, or mostly snowy white pale, or even having like crystallized, like icy blue hair or blue eyes. I have never seen that mostly in any of the mostly Japanese people. This is where, well, mostly Issei nodded and says, that is true. This is where, well, mostly what Hama says. So, where do you think she would be from? Isolated Japan? You know that's not a thing. Mostly, maybe the mountains, but not a thing. Issei says, fine. Okay, I don't actually know where she's from. This is where, well, mostly Murahama says, well, I'm just telling you and what I think she's from, but that's all. I mean, you can always talk to her. She seems to be quite friendly with you, because every time I see her kind of glancing towards anywhere, it'll be towards you most of the time. He says, I don't actually know why she keeps glancing at me. Don't know neither, but I don't care. Now, if you don't mind me, I'm still taking notes. This is where, well, mostly Murahama takes the notebook back from Issei, and this is where, well, mostly he goes on with taking notes. But yeah, the reason why Murahama needs to kind of take this class serious is because it's literally science. This class is science, and of course, well, it's kind of like, it's mostly not science, it's kind of like chemistry, so of course it's a little harder than normal, but yeah. And this is where, well, mostly the teacher is kind of strict and annoying, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Issei is kind of like thinking also, but mostly he is writing, but right now thinking in his head. There's a couple things that he's thinking in his head. First of all, he still needs to talk to Kaichu about something that he will have to do next week on 2 certain days. And that's all. Mostly either 2 or 3. But that's not the point here. There. Issei kind of just keeps thinking about that whole idea. And this is where, well, mostly Issei said, maybe she will not allow me, but then again, I can't really really miss that day at all. Other than that. This is where, well, Issei kind of sees the mostly clock and sees that it's almost time for next hour, mostly a couple of minutes, like 5 minutes. This is where, well, Issei starts kind of packing up things. This is where the teacher kind of sees some of the students also packing up. This is where the teacher says, the bell does not dismiss you, I do. That's mostly the teacher is one of those people. This is where, well, mostly a bunch of students just like grumbles and other things, while Matsuda is just grumbling. Murahama is right now seeing that there's no more notes on the what's it called board, so he doesn't care. He gets his backpack because he's also needing to kind of like get to his next class. The next class is actually math, like a what's it called, algebra, and of course he is also kind of failing that class, which he is going to ignore the teacher's kind of whole complaining bullshit because he needs to get to his next class. So of course he doesn't care. This is where, well, mostly the teacher kind of just says, okay. This is where he looks up to the alarm clock, mostly the clock, to see how much minutes, so he can actually maybe hold this class for like 2 minutes or something, because he's such a dickhead for that. This is where, well, because he doesn't really have a next class, well, mostly a class next hour, so of course he does this just because he's a prick. And this is where, well, mostly Murahama gets up, literally dips, even when the bell rings, no one can actually leave, but this is where Murahama gets up, walks out of literally the classroom, like opens the door and walks out. But yeah, this is where the door was about to like close, but this is where Issei gets up in an instant, and of course where, well, mostly SF notices, and of course she gets up also and just leaves, while mostly before the door fully closes, the door just finally closes because mostly Issei and SF are out. Even Murahama says, you actually are also ditching that whole bullcrap. This is where Issei says, yeah, that is true, I'm going to kind of, well, ignore that whole bullcrap because I gotta get to my next class. This is where, well, mostly right now Murahama nodded and says, well, see you, man, I gotta get to algebra. What class do you have next again? I forgot. This is where Issei says, I have ceramic. Why? This is where, well, I could look in that. This is where, well, mostly you say, well, not ceramics, it's mostly like English language arts, mostly just like They do kind of do mostly English in the school. So of course Issei kind of had that, but yeah, he only got it because he did wanted to speak English, and of course like perfectly fluent English just in case he ever wants to go to America. So of course he got to go towards English algebra. Well, not English algebra, mostly English arts, but yeah. That's where, well, mostly Murahama's getting towards mostly algebra. Of course, it's not a normal type of algebra. It's mostly like 8P PBS calculus or something like that. So, of course, Murahama has to get to that class. This is where, well, Issei just got normal algebra because he's not that smart to deal with any of that shit. This is where, well, mostly Murahama just says, well, see you, man, I gotta get to class. The teacher there is also a strict person. God damn it. But whatever, see you, man. This is where, well, mostly Issei nodded and says, wait, didn't you just have normal algebra? Yeah, but I switched it towards mostly pre-calculus because of mostly what I actually want to do after mostly high school. This is where, well, Issei says, I see. You're not going to college? Hell no. You think I have money for college? Yeah, that's not going to fucking happen. And I'd rather not deal with a bunch of college students right now being kind of either drunken like hell. You already know how Matsuda kind of acts most of the time with us. I feel like when he's older and he gets alcohol, well, that's a rip game for him. He's probably going to be like a dropout in college. And I'm not going to college because I don't want to deal with any of those people. Besides, I have something else better to do. I'm going to internship mostly in my third year. In my third year, I'm going to internship at one of the most popular kind of like mostly popular places. Of course, they only ask you for a high school diploma, which I'm so fucking happy because I don't have a college thing and I'm not even thinking of going to college. Issei says, and what is that? Ooh, it's called Stark. Mostly it's called, what's it called? An interviewship in mostly internship in mostly the Stark company. This is where, well, mostly Issei say, ooh, I heard of that. They are quite, how should I say, pretty good in engineer, let's say. Wait, are you going to become an engineer or are you going to go study into, no, I'm definitely going to engineer. Engineer or mostly scientist. This is where, well, Issei say, scientist? I never thought of you mostly as a scientist. Well, it's better than anything. Besides, I don't want to deal with mostly my parents' whole nagging about me not trying so hard in school. And of course, the whole pervertedness isn't going to get me anywhere. So I suggest you to actually also stop that. Issei says, I guess I should really stop being a pervert the whole time, shouldn't I? Yeah, we should just make it into a hobby, not into our whole fucking personal life. Right now, Murahama is actually speaking such facts. Issei says, I guess you're right. Well, good luck in your pre-calculus AP. Don't die. This is where, well, mostly Murahama says, yeah, I'm not gonna die. I'm not dumb enough like Matsuda. If Matsuda or you got it, I feel like you probably would try. At least Matsuda would literally drop out in an instant. This is where, well, Issei says, that is true. Okay. Issei said, yeah, okay, I understand that. This is where, well, Issei said, well, see you, man. This is where, well, Issei kind of just gave mostly Murahama a high five. And of course, this is where Murahama was just walking away. While Issei was kind of walking to his next class, and this is where, well, a bluish haired girl kind of appeared next to his eye corner. And this is where, well, Issei kind of turns around in an instant confused. And this is where, well, it's none other than SF. SF says, so, where's your next class? This is where, well, Issei says, This is where, well, his face becomes a little red. And he just looks away. And this is where, well, he says, my next class is English. English arts. Well, yeah. That's where, well, SF looks down at her kind of schedule and she noticed that she doesn't have it, which she kind of pouts in annoyment. But this is where, well, she says, well, I have, what's it called? Mostly, this is where, well, mostly she says, I have Spanish. I didn't even want it Spanish. I'm not gonna be good at Spanish. This is where, well, she just sighs, and this is where Issei chuckles and says, this is where, well, mostly Issei kind of talking Spanish and says, no es muy malo hablar en español. This is where, well, he kind of talks in Spanish. And this is where, well, she was shocked to actually understand that Issei actually speaks Spanish. This is where, well, she said, wait, you know Spanish? And this is where Issei said, muy poquito, but es, fuck. How should I say? Yeah, it's enough for me just to kind of pass by and some other things. This is where, well, mostly Steph was kind of flustered about the fact that Issei's Spanish accent was pretty good, and of course, actually kind of sounds quite really cute. And this is where, well, she then says, oh, okay. This is where, well, she blushes, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, well, this is where, well, Issei says, well, I gotta be going then. Adios. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, and this is where, well, she says, adios? This is where she was still confused on the Spanish words because she doesn't speak it at all. Of course, well, Issei was just walking away, and of course, the word as of sighs and says, wait, I didn't even ask him where the class would be at. This is where, well, she then thinks, maybe he doesn't actually know neither. Damn it. This is where, well, mostly she kind of just walks around until she can find it. But she did ask a couple people just to kind of find the class. Of course, a lot of people were just staring at her, mostly the girls and guys, which she gets uncomfortable and annoyed in an instant, which she actually wanted to freeze all these people because they're all quite annoying. Well, all annoying and just annoying. So yeah, just said it twice. Fuck, I don't know why I said it twice. But this is where, well, she didn't freeze him because mostly she asked mostly this blondish hair boy, and he didn't really stare at her at all. Mostly it was Kiba Yuta, and this is where, well, Kiba did kind of like help her out and where she would have to go. And this is where, well, mostly Estef noticed that he was a devil, but luckily he didn't stare at all and kind of being a bother. This is where, well, she's not interested in Kiba Yuta though because she's more interested in Issei. Issei isn't really a part of the supernatural, and of course that's what just makes her more interesting. Issei isn't part of the supernatural, and he doesn't even know about the devil's existence. But of course, he's quite interesting in mostly the school. Of course, a lot of people call him the perverted trio beast, mostly the beast of pervertedness or whatever. This is where, well, mostly SF hasn't really seen any of that on Issei, which she is confused, but she doesn't really care. This is where, well, she gets to a class, and this is where, well, she had to introduce herself in Spanish, and this is where she didn't actually understand any Spanish. This is where, well, this is where Issei, Issei mostly SF says, what did Issei say again? Me llamo, yeah, this is where SF says, me llamo Estef. This is where, well, mostly, she said, and this is where, well, mostly all of them were kind of shocked, even the teacher saying, so do you know Spanish? This is where, well, mostly Estef says, un poquito. This is where, well, mostly, the teacher nodded and says, I see. Well, mostly the teacher was speaking on this, and the teacher says, okay, hola, Estef. This is where Estef says, okay, I did, well, isn't hola hello? Yes, that's what it is. Oh god, I'm going to definitely ask Issei a lot of questions about Spanish. This is where, well, she's kind of dying in Spanish class, which Issei is right now in English class, and this is where Issei is right now reading the book of language arts, and this is where, well, he's reading right now English. This is where, well, he's a little bit more stoic and kind of positive in this class, but not much. He just wants to learn influent, or mostly not influent, mostly fluent kind of English because he already knows about fluent Spanish, but not the point. This is where, well, Issei says, well, other than that, this is where, well, he managed to get through the hour. The next hour is actually ceramics with mostly Murahama and Matsuda. And this is where, well, mostly he gets towards ceramics, and this is where Murahama appears kind of just saying, yo, so how was English? This is where, well, he says, that's pretty good. How was your AP class? This is where, well, Murahama says, not bad. There were some things I already knew and some things I didn't know. So it was not bad at all. This is where, well, mostly he says, well, that's good to know. This is where Matsuda says, you bastards! You left me in the class without telling me when the fuck you guys left. This is where, well, he was rushing towards what's it called, Murahama and Issei, which Murahama was already annoyed of Matsuda, so of course, where, well, mostly he just told Issei to move that way, while Murahama also, like, moves out of the way by just tripping the shit out of Matsuda into the classroom, but yeah. He fell onto a group of mostly, like, this somewhat guy. Well, it was actually a girl, but this girl was, like, buff as hell. She was basically like a JoJo star. Or not JoJo star. She was basically like a Joe star, and this is where, well, she was buff as hell, and this is where she says, who the hell are you? You're the pervert, what's it called, Boldy. Get the fuck out of my way. She clocked the shit out of Matsuda, out of the, what's it called, door, and into the hallway. He's knocked the hell out. This is where Murahama and Issei says, yeah, we should not walk into there that fast at all. This is where Murahama says, I agree. This is where, well, mostly they hear hi. This is where, or mostly someone says hello, or mostly she says it in Spanish, hola. And this is where, well, both of them just turns around in an instant. Of course, Issei knows that kind of accent a little bit. It's none other than Esther, but of course her accent's a little bit kind of like meh. So of course it's just like she said it kind of cutely, which Issei's face becomes a little red. But this is where, well, mostly Murahama says, oh, hello there. This is where, well, mostly he just kind of also speaks in Spanish, saying hola there. And this is where, well, mostly Esther kind of just says, yeah. This is where, well, she kind of decides to grab Issei from the arm and kind of just drag them inside to the classroom. Issei says, wait, no. This is where, well, mostly Murahama says, well, goodbye. The rumors are going to go like hell. This is where, well, Issei managed to slip his arm out of Esther, and this is where Esther kind of pouts in annoyment. But this is where, well, mostly they walk in together, and people still talked about the rumors. This is where Issei kind of sweats up and says, I'm so fucked. This is where Murahama managed to walk in, of course, without anyone kind of noticing him. And this is where, well, he managed to get towards the table, and where mostly Issei and Murahama kind of usually sits, and also Matsuda. But Matsuda's out in the hallway, already knocked the fuck out. This is where, oh, most of the classroom begins, and of course the teacher says, you must be Estef. Well, you get to sit. This is where, well, he's trying to pick a word to kind of sit her. This is where, well, you will get to sit kind of at the back near Issei. This is where, well, mostly everyone kind of scoffs and saying, why is always that kind of girl always next to Issei? This is where, well, mostly a bunch of people are whispering and kind of just talking in annoyment. This is where Esther really wants to just freeze all of these people because they're really just pissing her off. And this is where, well, mostly Issei just kind of gets almost just fried his brain because he's just tired. But yeah, this is where, well, tired from all these bullshit rumors. But this is where, well, Murahama's over here just kind of not really caring. He's already hearing music. He doesn't care. He's already doing his project. He does not care. But yeah. This is where, well, Issei's kind of noticed Murahama already has his earbuds, which he also out of like having his earbuds. This is where he just decided to put them into his ear and starts hearing the song called, So of course the song he's hearing right now is called Your Better Half, made by JT Music, and this is where, well, he's right now singing. This is where, well, he's right now kind of just doing his project, and the lyric says, my blood is thick with venom. Yeah, you get the point. This is where, well, Issei is right now doing his project, and this is where, well, when he's hearing that song, he thought of mostly the symbiotes from mostly Marvel, and the fact that they are what's called really cool to see. He already knows about a couple of the symbiotes. He knows about mostly the common ones, mostly the 3 common ones that mostly a lot of people would kind of like talk about, like Venom, mostly Venom, Carnage, or even what's it called, that one in the beginning of that one movie, I forgot his name, but yeah, that one kind of symbiote of like Venom, like what's it called, like part 1, like that first movie of Venom. But yeah, I forgot his name, that one Silverless one. But not many people talk about like Toxin, who is actually like Carnage's son and being actually the grandson of what's it called, mostly Venom. Of course, well, they don't talk about Anti-Venom. They don't also talk about mostly someone called Lasher, who is actually like a green symbiote, in which Issei really thought that this symbiote was cool because it kind of has, what's it called, like these kind of like tentacles somewhat, but they're like mostly sharp as hell and can actually stab into its enemies, which Issei thought it was actually cool, and he kind of likes the color. Yeah, he kind of likes green a little bit, way too much, but I'll explain why later, but not the point. This one, well, mostly Issei just thinks it's cool, so of course he decides to make that symbiote. Of course, he decides to make kind of the figure, kind of a little bit muscular, lean, so of course it isn't that like buff, kind of like Venom, mostly like that whole buff kind of like Venom symbiote when they always just become bigger and buffer, but yeah. So of course he kind of built this similar, similar lean towards mostly that of Carnage, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Issei's kind of built in that, and this is where, well, making it. And of course, people are still just glaring at Issei, but Issei is just ignoring them entirely. Still hearing the song, and of course, the song did kind of play into a different, what's it called, mostly this is called No Hero by, what's it called, JT Music, but yeah. I got this darkness inside, and it's talking to me. Oh, wait, fuck, I'm still recording, fuck. But not the point. Let me go into, well, sorry about that word. But yeah, that's mostly the first kind of lyrics and the kind of beginning of the song. But this is where, well, Issei's kind of just like mumbling somewhere. And of course, this is where SF managed to hear what exactly Issei kind of said. And this is where, well, she's kind of wondering if Issei's kind of singing. This is where, well, Issei managed to do his sculpture. And of course, it's basically like a mini version of basically Lasher. Basically, if you don't know who I'm talking about, the symbiote, let me show you. This is Leisure, or Lasher? Wait, let me say that again. So yeah, Lasher. So of course, mostly, he kind of looks like this most of the time, but yeah. Of course, mostly I'm gonna use this picture, but yeah. But of course, mostly Issei managed to finish it, and this is where, well, he actually did kind of put like spider web somewhere near it. Of course, he would just paint it all green later, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei is done kind of doing his sculpture, while mostly Murahama is already done doing his own sculpture, which Murahama basically just bases sculpture out of one of the Marvel characters that he actually likes a lot, and that is none other than Tony Stark. But he did basically some like Iron Man suits, like what's it called? Just a couple of Iron Man model suits. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly he's done with that, and this is where SF, she is kind of like making an ice palace. But yeah, which everyone is just amazed with all of them. And this is where, well, mostly Issei kind of just say, damn, Murahama, I wasn't expecting that. This is where, well, Murahama says, hey, I like Marvel, and I like, well, one of the characters, Tony Stark. Besides, he's a billionaire, rich playboy, but I don't really care about half of that. I just care about his like Iron Man suits. And besides, if I could actually make Iron Man suits, that would basically be one of them. Mostly these models. He's saying, well, that's good to know. This is where, well, when they turn behind, they see SF almost finishing her kind of like ice palace kind of sculpture, but this is where, well, everyone just dumbfounded. Even Issei and even Murahama, this is where, well, they weren't even close in anything to actually make at that similar level of what she made. This is where, well, SF kind of noticed Issei's kind of like dumbfounded look, which she kind of blushes. And this is where, well, she then kind of smiles at him. This is where Issei kind of just like, kind of also blushes a little bit from her smile, which every other guy just gets jealous, but yeah. But we go into mostly, a time skip of mostly the teacher is saying, what you do are such amazing, talented kind of people. This is where, well, he asked Issei, and what exactly mostly this is. This is where Issei explains that this is basically one of the Marvel, well, mostly symbiotes from the Marvel kind of universe. And that is none other than Lasher. This is where, well, he explains that Lasher is basically a symbiote that is kind of related towards mostly, this is where he explains that Lasher is one of the, what's it called, children of Venom, but mostly from Earth 60, or was it 6? Wait, let me say that again. So Earth 616 being 616, but this is where, well, Issei explains that he's one of the children of Venom, but from that Earth, and of course explain a little bit of who exactly is, and who is Venom, and other things, but yeah. This is where, well, we'll see the teacher nod and says, okay, that's a very interesting story about it. This is where, well, we'll see, he then looks at Murahama. Murahama says, these are basically Iron Man suits. 4 Iron Man suits, and this is where, well, they're all different marks of mostly the different Iron Man suits in evolution to mostly the beginning, towards mostly the middle, and mostly towards the end of mostly Marvel, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly he was actually going to do, what's it called, the God Iron Man suit, but he didn't have time. And he wanted to make that one later, to make it quite big. This is where, well, mostly the teacher nodded and says, I see. This is where, well, he then looks at SF and SF says, well, I always just thought of making an ice palace. That's mostly my dream and other things, but yeah. This is where the teacher nodded and says, okay. This is where, well, mostly Issei and, mostly... Issei, Murahama, and even SF just got a grade for that day being 100%, but yeah, just because of the fact that they actually managed to finish their kind of sculptures in a day, but yeah. So of course, they will get to paint it later, but mostly they just gotta let it dry. This is where, well, Issei is actually thinking of adding one of the other children of mostly Venom, and that is, or not children, mostly another character or Venom kind of, another kind of like symbiote. Of course, he was thinking of adding, well, Venom himself. So, of course, before kind of like leaving classroom, he actually wanted to put what's it called, Venom into the mix. Mostly, well, not Venom, mostly he actually wanted to do Carnage. Just because Carnage is one of the other children. So, of course, kind of like fighting against mostly Lasher, but yeah. So, of course, he decides to do that. So the teacher just says, do you really want to do something like that? That's where he says, yes. because mostly it would kind of look cool. Lasher versus Carnage. And Carnage, if you want to know, is another kind of symbiote son of mostly Venom. And another character from, what's it called? Marvel. But yeah. And yes, Carnage is a little bit more bloodthirsty, murderous, and half the time doesn't really care about things. This is where we'll see Motohama chuckles and says, wow, that's just putting it lightly, isn't it? This is where, well, Issei says, of course I'm putting it lightly, because if I said any of the gruesome stuff that Carnage has ever done, and explaining in quite details, I feel like everyone in this class would throw up. This is where, well, everyone kind of sweat drops, and mostly Issei's kind of explaining, which none of them do want to actually throw up. This is where SF is actually curious, but this is where, well, she doesn't say anything. This is where teacher says, okay, we do not need an explainment. Issei says, but if you want me to actually explain it, I can actually put it into an essay so you people can read it. And I will detail it enough so all of you can have nightmares. This is where Issei said with such an evilish smile for a second. And this is where, well, mostly everyone gets kind of, well, scared at the same time. Like, none of them are going to read that shit. This is where, well, Issei then says, nah, I'm too lazy to do that. This is where, well, Issei kind of just goes back to his, like, table and sits down. Well, mostly Motohama's chuckling, but yeah. Matsuda is still outside, still knocked the fuck out from that punch from that girl, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei and mostly Motohama are just talking while mostly everyone is doing their sculptures, but yeah. The classroom, mostly the class hours ended, and of course they get to their next kind of class, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly says, great history. This is going to be a pain. This is where, well, mostly Motohama says, don't have history, I have English arts. This is where, well, Issei says, why are you getting English arts? Well, you realize if I don't get into Stark, mostly the Stark University, or not Stark University, Stark internship, or, well, yeah, my internship, mostly internship or whatever, into that place, mostly that company, I feel like they would tell me to kind of go to another country. And if I had to pick my choosing, it would have been either, what's it called, America, Mexico. I don't even care if it's Mexico, like, goddamn it. I am not going to somewhere cold as fuck. I hate being cold. This is where, well, mostly Issei Swatch says, well, that's good to know. This is where, well, mostly Motohama says, other than that, well, see you, man. I gotta get to English art, see you. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, yeah, see you. This is where Issei is getting towards mostly history, and Issei is sort of dropping off history. Why do I have to deal with history? Hate it so much. Why? Such a pain. This is where, well, mostly stuff kind of appeared next to him and says, hey. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, hello. Do you need something? This is where stuff nods and says, do you know where this class is at? Issei kind of like looks at her kind of like, mostly paper sheet, and it's basically just music class. This is where, well, Issei says, yeah, I had that class. I just changed it. I didn't really care. Well, I can show you where it is at. It's kind of close to my class. So, yeah. This is where, well, we'll see Steph nodded, and of course, she just decided to follow Issei. While everyone in the whole hallway is still talking about the rumors. And Issei just wanted to die at that point because he hated everyone in the whole fucking classroom for the fact they're all prickish, but mostly annoying. Or not classroom, mostly in the whole hallway because they won't shut the fuck up. But yeah, Issei just decided to get towards mostly the classroom. And of course, this is where he showed SF and where's it at, and just tells her it's down the hallway and other things. This is where, well, mostly SF nodded, and of course decided to hug him. This is where Issei's face almost became entirely red and almost fell down. This is where, well, he also probably almost had a blood nose. But he managed to stop himself, and this is where, well, kind of composure himself and says, calm down, don't have a heart attack, don't have a heart attack. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, not having a heart attack, good. This is where, well, Issei kind of just sees SF walking away, and of course Issei says, she's so damn cute. Why the fuck am I thinking about this? This is where, well, Issei was about to turn around until he sees a very angry Matsuda rushing towards him. But before even Matsuda trying to attack him, right now someone opened the door in an instant, mostly the classroom for history, and of course it's none other than what's it called, the teacher. The teacher opens the door, and this is where, well, the teacher says, huh, what the hell did I hit? This is where, well, the teacher, like, looks over the door, and sees it's none other than a knocked out, what's it called, Matsuda. This is where, he says, thanks, teach, whatever, bye. This is where Issei goes into the classroom. This is where, well, the teacher switches, but yeah. Other students were walking inside, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly a girl kind of saw the whole mostly interaction with mostly Estef and Issei, which kind of made her a little jealous, but mostly she didn't really have to care too much. Because she would know that the perverted beast would still kind of go peep on her in her kind of club. So she's not worried too much. This is where, well, mostly Issei kind of gets into the mostly room and gets into his seat while mostly Matsuda gets up and tries to get inside with the teacher already closing the door. So of course Matsuda just screwed again. He is literally just fucked over. This is where, well, Matsuda bangs at the door and saying, "Let me in! Let me in!" This is where, well, someone kind of thought that Matsuda was trying to break down the door. So basically someone decided to just tackle him down saying, "Intruder!" Because, well, Matsuda's face was all fucked up, but yeah. This is where, well, Matsuda got tackled down, but yeah. The teacher opened the door and says, "What is happening?" This is where the person says, "Don't worry, ma'am, I just took out this criminal." This is where, well, mostly the teacher says, "Okay." This is where the teacher locked the door, but whatever. This is where, well, mostly, Issei says, "Well, I don't think not Matsuda. Yeah, Matsuda's having a good day. Whatever." This is where, well, Issei is dealing with history class and he's just getting bored of his mind. Fucking hell. This is where he's dying. He's dying slowly, but yeah. This is where, well, he decides to ignore that and decides to go on with his next classroom. Mostly his, like, not fifth hour, but mostly lunchtime. But yeah. Instead of going towards mostly lunch hours to see Matsuda or Murahama, this is where Issei is going towards see, well, mostly... He's actually going to go see Kaishu just because he needs to talk to her. So yeah, this is where Issei kind of shows up at the student council room and just knocks at the door. And this is where, well, right now Sona kind of just says, "Come in." This is where none of her kind of like Parage is there, not even Tsubaki. And this is where Issei kind of just says, "Can I come in?" This is where, well, mostly Sona nods and says, "Yes, you can, Hyodo." This is where, well, he says, "Sorry about kind of going here when it's kind of lunchtime. I really didn't have any time to go when it was during my classes." This is where, well, Sona says, "No, it's fine." This is where, well, she then kind of asks and what Issei needs. Issei says, "Oh, yeah, I'm just here to tell you before next week starts. I'm here to just tell you about the fact that, well, I'm not going to be here on, let's see, Tuesday. I might be gone. I'm going somewhere to visit someone, mostly on Tuesday. I don't know when I'm going to come back. Either I'm going to come back on Thursday or even Wednesday, or probably I'll be gone on Wednesday and Thursday and came back probably on Friday. But I'm just telling you right now because, well, mostly I know you're not going to accept the whole me leaving thing because, yeah, but I really got to go do this. And, of course, even if you don't accept it and you're telling me no, I'm still gonna go do it. You can just mark me absent on those days." Sona sighs and says, "Fine, I understand. So you're basically just telling me this now so I don't have to worry later." Issei nods and says, "Yes, that's the case." This is where, well, Sona nods and says, "Okay, fine. Was that all you came to tell me?" This is where Issei says, "Yeah." Issei kind of noticed something from his corner of eye and just noticed a chessboard. Issei says, "Do you play chess?" This is where Issei kind of just ask, what's it called, Sona. This is where Sona says, "Huh? Yeah, I do. Why?" Issei says, how about this?" This is where Issei says, "If I beat you in chess, would I be able to get those absences or absences not put in my records?" Sona sighs and says, "It's fine." Listen, well, she is confident that she will be able to beat the pervert. We got to about, like, not even 20 minutes later. Literally, like, 5 minutes later, and she is losing twice. She lost twice because she was actually frustrated in the first one, thinking that she was now arrogant, too cocky. And, of course, decided to try it in the second one, and she still lost. This is where, well, he says, so moving this would be this, and this is where, well, Sona noticed that Issei was actually calculating the stuff. Mostly the movements. This is where she expected mostly either Murahama to be a little bit smarter than Issei. But Issei was quite smart and quite tactical. Like if he actually fought in multiple wars. But he hasn't, so yeah. Or maybe he has, or maybe he hasn't. But this is where, well, Issei kind of says, huh, oh, did I beat you? Oops, sorry about that. This is where, well, Sona says, no, 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 it's fine. I guess you're a sponge. I will sponge the absences and just say that you were sick that day. But other than that, I'll I, this is where, well, she was kind of blushing while Issei gets up and says, oh, good to know. Well, I'll be going then. Issei kind of just opens the door and walks away, but yeah. This is where, well, Sona is right now blushing madly from the fact that Issei is none other than her fiance. But of course, Issei doesn't know about this because Issei just already walked out before even Sona can even say anything. This is where Sona's face was all red. This is where, well, she wasn't expecting to kind of get a fiance so fast, so soon. And especially that being a human. This is where, well, she sighs and says, ah, damn it. This is where, well, Issei decides to get towards mostly lunchtime, just to kind of eat something so he doesn't starve to death. But this is where, well, someone actually kind of grabs his arm, and this is where it's not Estef, and basically she just takes him up somewhere, or mostly not takes him up somewhere, just takes him outside, and this is where, well, she basically has a bento box and just saying, are you hungry? This is where, well, Issei said, yeah, sorry, I just was talking to, Sona, what's it called, Shatora, a while ago, so I didn't really have any lunch. Yeah, I'm kind of hungry. Thanks, I guess. This is where, well, she basically opens the bento box and just grabs the kind of like food with the chopsticks and decides to feed Issei like if he was a child, which Issei gets confused, but this is where, well, he decides to just take it. This is where, well, Issei just decides to chew on it, and this is where, well, it's like, that's pretty good. This is where, well, Esther flushes and says, yeah. This is where, well, mostly she is blushing while Issei is kind of like, not really noticing it because he's kind of dense, but this is where, well, Issei kind of says, thanks. This is where, well, he then also gets another, like, mostly a food full of, yeah, mostly just a lot of food. This is where, well, Issei just keeps eating, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei kind of just sees Estef, and Estef is kind of smiling at him, while his face becomes red, and he just kind of chews and just looks away, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly that is happening while we go into, mostly Murahama and Matsuda kind of talking. Matsuda is over here crying, saying, how the hell did our leader manage to get a girl like her? We go into Murahama just like right now yawning and of course reading a book without a care in the world. Well, Murahama is over here reading. Matsuda is over here complaining and crying about shit. Well, mostly Matsuda really doesn't care and really doesn't feel like he needs to deal with mostly Matsuda's bullcrap, which he mostly gets up and just walks away, but yeah. Well, Murahama says, where do you think you're going? Murahama, get back here! This is what Murahama says, no, fuck off. He just gets ready for his 5th hour, but yeah. Now, 5th hour is actually gym for mostly all 3 perverts, but this is where, well, Issei said, thank you for the food, but I really shouldn't eat too much because I have gym next hour. And I am not the greatest person to be fit. This is where, well, Estef kind of smiles and says, oh, don't worry, you'll be fine. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, yeah, I hope I'll be fine. Oh, my muscles or my body doesn't collapse from the pain and exhaustion. Whatever. This is where, well, Issei gets up and says, thank you again. This is where, well, Estef is right now blushing and saying, yeah. This is where, well, mostly Issei kind of says, well, I gotta get going to 5th hour. Do you need any help in other classes? This is where, well, mostly Estef nodded and explains that other classes. This is where Issei kind of helps her out, but yeah. Mostly explains her where it will be all those classes at, and if he's not dead for gym, he might help her out for like 6th hour and even 7th hour. He explains 7th hour is actually quite simple because he mostly has, well, robotics also. This is where, well, he then says that he will help her out with robotics and basically where the classroom will be at. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly she nodded and thanked Issei a lot. Well, Issei gets towards mostly gym hour. There is Murahama, Issei, and Matsuda. Now, Matsuda is having an angry looking expression. The teacher right now goes to do what's called mostly a So we go into mostly a time skip of mostly gym class being over. And of course, well, not over because, well, mostly the teacher decided to put running and of course some other sports and other shit. But yeah, of course, Matsuda wanted to kill Issei for that whole time in sports. But of course, Issei was not letting, what's it called, not Murahama, Matsuda have that side faction, while Murahama was basically reading a book while running. He didn't care. He was basically still doing schoolwork while doing this whole physical shit. Which he noticed that he might have to do like physical stuff in the near future. So yeah, he's just running, doing a just simple jog. While mostly Issei is being chased down by mostly Matsuda and an Insane. But this is where, well, Issei's kind of mostly necklace, the drill necklace, was kind of glowing green, and Issei's eyes were glowing green also. Issei was running like a he was just becoming a Flash and an Insane, running away from Matsuda. Matsuda was out here trying to get blood on Issei. He was just pissed. But of course, where, well, mostly Issei managed to kind of go around, well, mostly through like these like jocks, mostly just past him by easily kind of squeezing through and just running past him, while mostly Matsuda is rushing towards them. But of course, instead of like being able to bulge through them or squeeze through them, he kind of smashes into one of them, while the others kind of turn around and start beating the shit out of Matsuda. So every time that Matsuda tried to kind of get Issei by trying to kill him in one of the sports, that didn't happen because Issei managed to kind of outrun him. But yeah, or just escape from him. But yeah, Matsuda was kind of looking like a goddamn pincushion that just got fucked up in a freaking Cinco de Mayo and what's it called, any Mexican party. But yeah, but not the point. This is where, well, mostly Issei kind of switched up and mostly Matsuda's antics. But yeah, this is where Matsuda was so pissed and annoyed of Issei. But yeah, Issei was just not really trying to fight against Matsuda. This is where Murahama just saw this whole shit without a care in the world. He said, meh. But there goes mostly Matsuda, whatever. But we go into mostly a time skip of mostly Issei going through 6th hour, and 6th hour is basically what's it called? Just algebra, and this is where, well, 7th hour is now what's it called, mostly what's it called, robotics, which you managed to kind of tell Estef and where it be at by kind of just talking to her, and of course walking in the hallways while everyone's still talking about the goddamn same bullcrap. Of course, where, well, the robotics class is just mostly robots and other things, while Issei is mostly usually working by himself because mostly Murahama's not in this classroom, just him by himself, or even Matsuda, which he's kind of happy not having Matsuda in this classroom because Matsuda is been trying to go after him in blood and trying to kill him. But yeah, but not the point. But we go into mostly Estef and Issei kind of just like doing one of the robots projects together because the teacher, his name is Mr. Johnson, and this is where, well, he is an American, well, mostly in a, well, let me think. He's American, and of course he's from America, and this is where, well, he just decided to put them together because, well, Issei's by himself, but mostly when they came inside, they were together, so of course the teacher thought it'd be a great thing to put them together. Of course, Estef didn't really know much about engineering and robotics, but Issei did, so of course, to work well, Issei kind of just taught her about some things, and yeah. This is where, well, we'll see, and how to create a basic robot and other things, but yeah. But for right now, we go into mostly the time skip also from the robotics to kind of getting out of the school. Now, Issei didn't actually go peep on the girls because mostly Issei was actually going to go prepared to get some stuff, mostly a, not vacation, but a trip for him to go visit someone. Visit someone so special and close to his heart. But this is where, well, it's not really like a love interest, but someone that he actually mostly thought of, mostly a brother figure, but not the point. We go into mostly Issei leaving the school, but of course Estef is actually accompanying him, and of course they're just getting out of the school. Of course, the girl with reddish hair kind of noticed Issei and even Estef, and this is where, well, mostly someone say, what's it called, Ria? I didn't know you were into girls. This is where, well, mostly Ria says, I'm not. The boy next to that girl. The girl is, which one are you talking about? The girl or the boy? The boy. He has a weird icy temperature towards him. No, that's the girl. This is where, well, mostly Ria says, what do you mean? The girl is none other than Estef, the Ice Queen, and she does not like devils at all. This is where, well, Ria's wiping her eyes and says, that's bad. That's really bad. And why is she next to the brown boy? She basically took a liking to him. Basically, is always around him and smiling and actually kind of giving him cute faces. While Issei is actually blushing most of the time and becoming a mess. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly Rias nodded. I still felt some interesting power from him. Are you sure it's not the ice ability from mostly being close to Esther? This is where, well, Rias kind of shook her head and just said, but still, I don't know what it is, but yeah. Or maybe did you fall in love with him, just like how the ice queen fell in love with him? This is where Rias becomes red and says, no, I didn't. No. This is where, well, mostly Akano just giggles, but yeah. This is where, well, we go into mostly Issei kind of getting towards mostly to his house, while Esther says, well, I should be going also. This is where Issei nodded. Of course, where, well, as if this decides to kind of grab her phone and kind of put it in front of Issei, and Issei says, what do you want me to... This is where Esther said, can I have your phone number? This is where Issei winds his eyes and say, sure. Issei kind of puts his phone number, and this is where, well, we'll see, Esther kind of calls it just to see if it's actually true, and this is where Issei picks up his phone, this is where he answers it. See? It's true. This is where Esther smiles and kind of nodded. This is where, well, she then walks away, being happily, and just... kind of being really happy and just walking away. Well, Issei kind of smirks up and says, that's the first time I ever got asked for a girl to have my phone number. Man, the whole day was actually strange now that I think about it. Maybe I should just go home. No, wait, I still gotta get some stuff. Or maybe I get it when I visit that place. Yeah, I'll do that when I get over there. This is where, well, we go into Issei kind of getting towards his house. He gets to his house and literally the first thing he does is get upstairs and fall fucking asleep. But yeah, he was tired the whole day. Running away from Asura was like fucking hell, but it was kind of funny at the same time. But this is where, well, we go into mostly a time skip about mostly the next day, but it was kind of similar to the same, except for Esther kind of being kind of nicer to him, mostly way nicer, or just the same niceness, which he can only guess, but yeah. But of course, this is where on Wednesday, someone actually came to the school. A new student, well, mostly two new students, but they weren't actually together. They were actually separate. They were just mostly new students. One girl, well, mostly they came into mostly science class, similar to that of mostly Issei's kind of classroom, but yeah. Now, of course, Issei did accidentally bump into these two people on accident because he was running on Wednesday too, because he needed to get to class, but yeah. But of course, luckily, he didn't fully bump into them, like smashing his head, but he just kind of pushed them on accident. But yeah, just an accident. But yeah, if you can remember right, one girl kind of had like similar kind of like palish white skin, similar to that Elsa, but not snowy. This is where, well, she also had kind of rose, kind of palish, rose blonde hair and palish blue eyes. This is where, well, the other girl, let me second. The other girl was mostly a girl with kind of mostly these orangey kind of pinkish hair with some blue highlights, but it's like pink blue highlights. Of course, the word, well, she had, what's it called? Well, it was like flowing orangey hair with kind of like, yeah, and of course like blue and pink highlights. This is where, well, she kind of also seems to be quite tall, similar to that as of height. But this is where, well, she had pinkish eyes. Yes, literally pinkish eyes, which actually confused the shit out of Issei, but didn't care too much. Of course, where, well, she kind of had like this tannish skin, kind of. Yeah, tannish skin. And this is where, well, she was not angry, unlike the other girl who was kind of upset, but not too much upset, because when they look at Issei, he was looking like he was running for dear life, which Issei says sorry and my bad, and decides to run past him and kind of get to class, or mostly school. He couldn't really show them the way because he really needs to get to school, but yeah. Well, other than that, we go into the classroom. This is where, well, they both introduce themselves as, well, the blondish hair girl being named, what's it called? Junko Inishima. And the other girl kind of being named, her name was Marine Kitarara. Yeah, I don't really know how to say it, but this is where, well, they are both kind of just, well, one is smiling, and of course, with a friendly smile. And of course, she noticed Issei, and of course, just smiles at him. While mostly Junko does the same, but she has an evil smirk, because she also noticed a bluish hair girl kind of next to Issei. That's where, well, mostly the bluish hair girl noticed Issei, Issei mostly noticed the Junko, and even the girl. This is where she narrowed her eyes in very angry and annoyment that they're basically also here. Now the girl with kind of like orangey hair is kind of having palish skin. Well, not palish skin. She kind of has a like somewhat, well, not palish, but yeah, it's kind of palish, but not palish like what's it called, Esdef or even Junko's. But yeah, this is where they decide to kind of walk up towards mostly to sit wherever. Mostly it's kind of near Esdef because mostly Miria kind of got next to Esdef, while mostly Junko decides to take the seat behind Issei. This is where Junko kind of says, "So, hello Esdef." She kind of said in a very quiet and hushed tone, but mostly Esdef heard it, and Esdef was glaring at her. But yeah. Now, the whole day was basically an interesting kind of topic because mostly a bunch of people was basically talking about how Issei already has a harem, which is not the case because Issei never really thought of this as a harem. It was mostly a bother the whole day, but not the point. But we go mostly through the whole week. Mostly Matsuda has been trying to kill him, but yeah. No, not the point. But we go on till mostly Monday afternoon. Issei went to the store mostly the next week, but yeah, Monday afternoon. But we go to Issei kind of going to the store, and of course he just went to the store to kind of like buy some stuff that he needed because mostly Tuesday he won't be going to school. He even told Estef this just because mostly he doesn't want to worry her about anything. But yeah. Issei is going to the store, but of course he met mostly before going to the store. He saw a kid kind of getting bullied. He had kind of purplish hair, like purplish, like somewhat a little bit pinkish, but somewhat purplish, and of course kind of purplish eyes. This is where he was scared, and of course just crying a little bit. And this is where, well, some thugs were literally in the store, kind of literally threatening everyone in the what's it called store about the fact that they have some dirty secrets and other things. And of course the person who was saying this was also kind of bullying the kid. And this is where, well, it kind of pissed off Issei a lot in it. This is where, well, Issei really hated the fact that these motherfuckers were really just bullying the kid, and of course having all these dirty secrets against some people, even the store owners, which Issei couldn't really do anything. Also, if you hear that it's raining like hell outside, that's literally it's raining like hell outside. Now, not the point. So of course mostly Issei kind of didn't really have any of this like dirty secrets on him. So Issei right now sighs. Of course he hates fighting, but this is where, well, Issei kind of decided to throw a watermelon and throws it upon, what's it called, mostly one of the guy's heads. This is where Issei runs out of the store, making sure that all of them decide to chase after him. He mostly hit the leader, and this is where, well, all of them rushes at Issei. This is where the kid is confused, but this is where Issei kind of like just ran outside. Now this is where, well, Issei kind of was like fighting against the thugs, mostly the leaders, or like thug leaders, but yeah. So of course this is where, well, mostly the kid that was mostly getting bullied decides to follow the thugs, and of course just follow the person who threw that melon. And this is where, well, when he gets to the alleyway, he sees mostly the person right now easily knocking out all of the thugs, literally knocked them all out. It's none other than Issei, and of course this is where Issei was about to kind of get to the store, but of course this is where he noticed the kid, but the kid was actually being kind of choked by an older looking person, a person that kind of had like his hair kind of like cut, but he had kind of blondish hair into a ponytail, and of course where, well, he kind of had insane eyes, and of course he was wearing this kind of like reddish kind of coat that kind of had Japanese symbols. And this is where, well, he also kind of had this, well, yeah, I already said insane kind of like mostly look into his eyes and grin. And this is where, well, mostly the kid was trying to get out of the way, mostly trying to make the older looking person let go. But this is where, well, he was kind of crying, and this is where, well, the person says, "Oh, don't cry. You're just going to die, and I'm going to see the dragon awaken again." This is where, well, he grins again. But before anything else happens, a kick smashes into his head. This is where, dropping the kid in an instant, he grabs the kid. He says, "Are you okay?" This is where the kid nodded and says, "Yeah, I'm okay." This is where, well, he's breathing a little bit and right now scared and adrenaline. This is where he says, "Kid, I need you to do something." "Huh?" "I need you to run back to your store and make sure to not call the cops or anyone. I'll be okay by myself." This is where the kid nodded. Of course, the older looking kid was mostly about to attack Issei and even mostly the kid, but this is where Issei managed to kick the guy in the face and kind of push him away. This is where the kid decides to run away, and of course some like thugs of group, mostly a bunch of like thugs that look to be similar the same as the other ones that Issei knocked out, actually appear, but the kid managed to run away from them and escape. This is where the older person says, "Let go of the kid. I just want to see if I can awaken the dragon again." This is where, well, Issei kind of scoffs and says, "What, you're really trying to piss me off or something?" This is where, well, mostly Issei said with such an angry, annoyed tone. This is where, well, mostly the older person says, "Of course. If your name isn't, how should I say? Let me say something. Is your name Issei Haidu?" Issei narrows his eyes, and this is where, well, mostly the person says, "Do you know who I am?" This is where Issei says, "Self-Tyrannant. What the hell do you want?" This is where, well, mostly South kind of grins and says, "Good to know that you remember me. Well, let's see if the dragon I can awake again." How to piss you off. But before he can even say anything, a kick was about to hit him, but this time he managed to dodge. This is where, well, he managed to kind of dodge the attack and just says, "Well, if I can't awaken you by trying to kill a child in front of you, I guess I'll just send my thugs at you just to piss you off enough. Go get him, boys. Destroy him." This is where, well, a bunch of people like Doug start rushing at Issei. Issei right now starts kicking the shit out of them easily, kind of beating their ass by easily not killing them, mostly kicking them in the stomach, kneeing them in the stomach, punching them in the stomach, kind of using the elbow straight towards the back of the head, knocking them out. But yeah, this is where, well, Issei says, "That's quite pathetic." This is where, well, before he even noticed, mostly Toronto actually appears right now, punching him in the side of the face, right now launching him straight to the wall. Issei kind of spits out some mostly like a tooth and blood, and this is where Issei says, "Such an annoying asshole." This is where, well, Toronto grins and says, "Oh, am I such an annoying bastard? Let's see. Maybe if I'm so annoying, maybe you should call your older brother for backup." This is where, well, Issei's face right now becomes darkened in an instant. This is where his eyes widen in actually anger and much more fury. This is where, well, mostly Toronto says, "Or maybe you should get your sister involved, since your sister is dead. Or maybe you should get your other brother, like, what's it called, the Invincible Mikey, or even..." This is where he says, "Shut the hell up." This is where, well, before, what's it called, mostly Toronto can even say the other person, mostly someone named, maybe Inzana. This is where, well, mostly Issei said, "Shut the hell up." Issei said with such an angry, dead tone and just so pissed off, like very angry. This is where, well, mostly Toronto says, "What? Are you so angry? Are you so pissed? What are you gonna do, huh?" This is where, well, Issei's mostly body reacted so fast. Mostly his eyes right now glowed green, but a darkish green. His right now, mostly hair started flowing up, and this is where Toronto grins and saying, "That's good to know that you're awakening dark impulse. Let's see how strong you are." This is where, well, mostly Toronto grins, while mostly Issei kind of is just glaring at Toronto. Toronto right now activates also dark impulse, but this is where, well, before he even knows anything, a knee smashes into his face so hard right now, launching him right now down the street. This is where, well, mostly Toronto tries to get back up, but this is where Issei right now tries to punch at him, which mostly Toronto managed to dodge, but Issei punches the ground and cracks it in an instant. Issei kind of punches it with his right hand, and of course, well, his right hand is kind of bleeding, but not, he doesn't care. This is where he sends a powerful kick to try to take off, as it calls, Toronto's head. Toronto managed to dodge and says, "So this is the power of the dragon. This is what I wanted to see. This is what I needed to see." This is where, well, mostly Issei kind of glares at mostly Toronto. This is where, well, oh, fuck. Oh, damn. Sorry about that. But mostly, Issei glares at mostly Toronto. And this is where, well, Toronto kind of just says, "Come on, show me what you have, Issei Haidu. Or should I call you Issei Sano?" This is where, well, Issei says, "Shut the hell up and die already." This is where, well, we go into mostly a kid kind of coming back, but this time he actually came back with a couple of people, mostly just to kind of help out mostly the older looking kid that he actually now calls older brother Nissan. because mostly the kid kind of got saved twice by the older looking kid. A brownish hair boy, of course, mostly having messy hair and brown and goldenish eyes. This is where when he explained this to his sister, someone, and also her friend, and of course some other people that were in the store that just kind of came in there recently and kind of saw the watermelon that was cracked, but no one there. But yeah, of course there was a lot of people freaking out, but yeah. Of course the owners of the store kind of freaked out, kind of getting worried about the kid. But when they saw their younger looking kid manage to come back, they were questioning him about the older looking kid, which mostly even his sister kind of questioned it. This is where, well, mostly they couldn't, well, mostly the kid says that the older looking kid, he is still kind of struggling. He's probably fighting other thugs, and there was lots of thugs that he saw. This is where, well, mostly his older sister says, fine, and take me towards him. This is where, well, mostly the kid decides to nod and decides to bring, what's it called, mostly his sister and some of them towards mostly the location. A bluish hair girl, palish blonde hair girl, rose hair girl, and orangey kind of, mostly it's kind of like orangey, somewhat, but it's kind of blondish with pinkish eyes. This is where, well, mostly they get towards the location, and what they see is a very pissed off Issei. This is where Issei says, shut up! This is where he sends a powerful knee into the person. Right now, a flying knee into the person's face, and right now cracking the guy's like face in. This is where the guy smashes into the ground, and of course the guy tries to get up and says, so this is the power of the raging Jaden dragon. Show me more. Show me what you can. This is where before he can even dodge a kick to the side of the head, he gets smashed to the ground. This is where, well, he tries to get back up, but this is where, well, Issei right now kicks him in the stomach so hard. Right now smashing him down to the ground. This is where, well, Issei crouches down, and of course decides to grab the guy from mostly the collar and bring his ass mostly up. Mostly it's like face showing a little bit up, and this is where she says, shut up. Die already, you asshole. This is where, well, mostly before, what's it called? When the other guy can actually react, mostly mostly Self cannot even react. He gets punched in the face over and over and over until Issei's hand is nothing but a bloody mess. Mostly thinks he's just punching him with the right hand, even though this right hand punches the freaking like ground and did kind of break it, but of course it was kind of having bloody knuckles. In the first place, but he didn't care. He punches what's it called South over and over and over and over. It kind of just looked like straight up like what's it called Kazutaro versus mostly Mikey's battle. But yeah, but of course Issei was like less merciless. He was like more, yeah, less merciless. Of course, he just keeps punching and punching and punching and punching. Of course, he didn't even care about his own bloody fist in an instant. This is where, well, before Issei can actually kill this guy, mostly someone actually says, stop it, older brother Nissan, please. This is where, well, mostly Issei was confused, but this is where, because he doesn't have any siblings, and those who actually call him older brother Nissan. Issei turns around, mostly he just turns from the corner to see, mostly the little kid, mostly the little kid named, what's it called? The little kid that he saw at, what's it called, the store. He had purplish hair and like purplish eyes. Somewhat, kind of brownish, but not the point. They were kind of magenta, but purplish and brownish at the same time. This is where, well, the kid was scared of Issei, and this is where Issei said, alright. This is where, well, Issei right now stopped punching the shit out of the older looking dude, which he already passed out a while ago. He got knocked the fuck out. He was already gone. He was just gone. He wasn't even going to wake up anytime soon. Issei kind of looks at the kid, and this is where the kid right now sees Issei walking towards him. This is where Issei kind of just right now cover his eyes and says, sorry about that. The kid shouldn't be seeing such gruesome battle. I'm sorry. Issei passes out in an instant. This is where, well, mostly Issei is already just dead tired, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly a group of girls rushes towards mostly Issei, and of course he's that kind of massacre of what Issei has did to that person. But of course, this is where, well, mostly they were shocked and dumbfounded. This is where, well, we go into Issei's going to the hospital, but yeah, or mostly hospital time skip, but yeah. Issei is right now in the, holy shit. Sorry about that. That was the thunder out there, and goddamn, it's not. When the fuck is it gonna stop? Damn, this thing is going long. Not the point. Let me go back into the water. But we go into Issei going into the hospital, and this is where, well, Issei wakes up kind of confused. That's why, well, he grabs his head as mostly like if he has a headache, which he does. He has a headache of annoyance and anger, but of course he's trying to calm himself. But yeah. So what, well, Issei was so tired, just dead to rights tired. But yeah. Other than that, I'm actually going to leave it off here for kind of part 2 of this what if. Part 3 will be whenever, but for right now, bye, see you, and yeah.